How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Monday live stream. Good to see you all back here again. Before we start, I must say, today, two show are planned. Two show because I have a short amount of time that I can spend with you guys right now. I have some meeting appointment after that. So we're going to go for about an hour today. Now, and after that, at night, for most of the people in Europe, at evening time. So at 9 p.m. Eastern Canada time. Same time as New York City. If you want to know what time do I refer to, please Google what time is it in New York. I'm in the same time zone as New York. So 1:30 p.m. right now. The second stream will be at 9 p.m. tonight. And there we will have time. Plenty of time to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Because even if this is my show, it's all about you. It's all about you and your question and what you guys want to talk about. This is why we're here. Okay, I didn't do a live stream last week because I was in Toronto. Toronto, Canada. Actually, no, I was not in Toronto, Canada. I was in Burles Creek. This is a city close to Barrie, Ontario. And I was at the Boots and Hearts Festival, where the headliner was the lovely, talented Shania Twain. So if you guys are into country music, you probably know her. Actually, you probably live under a rock if you don't know who Shania Twain is. Shania, I don't know how. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, seriously. Anyhow, I was there. I could not make it back in time for me to do this live stream today. After that, I was this weekend I was at the Montreal Lasso Festival. I did a couple live stream of a couple minute showing the wing, showing the PA that I had, and I'll let you guys know. I don't know if I wanted to go on that slope right there, but I think we'll go there. It was fun. I had a lot of fun mixing with my console, but I lived that experience for the first time. I'm on as big as a stage you can imagine. This is the 750 from stage line. This is huge show, huge stage. Two of them one next to the other. I'm mixing my band into both stage because, you know, you have a PA for your stage and the other stage next to it is also broadcasting your show, but a little lower in volume. I experienced the L Acoustic K2 for the first time. And this is my one and only experience where I could hear in a PA a cut of 0.5 dB. I was hearing and feeling compression like I never felt before. I was hearing 0.5 for real. I tried it. I tried to turn down 0.5 dB at 1K in that system, and I heard it. I heard it clear as a day. So I was mixing my stuff, mixing my band. Felt a little shy at the beginning. Also, I was in the sun. I was not seeing a lot of the console because I decided to install my console outside the tent again. Even if, actually, no, you guys didn't see it. Be aware of my vlog coming out next Saturday. You will see why I should always mix in a tent from now on. All I'm gonna say as a teaser is, thanks God the console survived. And also this weekend, thanks God the console survived a really warm day outside directly in the sunlight. I was afraid at some point that the console will shut down on me because I could not touch it. It was so hot that I could not touch it. Everything seems to be fine. Consoles work great, did the show great. Only half an hour, but did the half hour of show great, did it. The screen, I could see it enough that I could work my way through the show with it, but anyhow, what I wanted to say is I don't know if after doing that that huge deal of PA, that big of quality of PA, if I still value the wing as good as I did before. Hear me out. In Toronto, when I did the Boots and Hearts Festival, they were not aware for some reason that I was bringing my monitor split in front of house console. So they didn't know, and because of the small changeover time we have, 15 minutes to get the other band out, get on stage and play, they didn't let me use my monitor split, my microphone, or the front of house console. I had to mix in a what was the PA? It was Adamson. I don't remember exactly the model number, but it was a huge array of Adamson. It was an S6L console at the front, and I had to step over the engineer who did the band before me. Basically the same setup. It was all country band, so basic rock and roll, drum, 2 guitars, a bass, and a couple vocal. So the guy, the lovely engineer that was there, if I remember correctly, his name was Sean. I could be totally wrong. Jason. The lovely engineer there, Jason, put my band on a console, basically build a custom layer for me. And he gave me control over all my stuff, and I had to jump after his stuff. His stuff sounded really good, by the way. Jason, if you ever see, Jason, if you ever seen this live stream, you did a good job, man. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you for the great welcome you did there for me. Really appreciate that. And I'm gonna say it. I felt something good, and later, in between these two shows, between the Boots and the Hearts and the Lasso Festival that I did a 2-input gig on Dejico. And going back to the wing, after trying out consoles that are 10 times the price, and I'm going to stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. 10 times the price of the wing. I don't believe they sounded 10 times better, but I kind of realized where the wing is sitting there. Also, something that I must point out. I did not use my DL251. I used a X32 rack as a stage box for me at front of house. I heard the difference between my 251 and the X32 rack, and probably felt like that was missing on my end for that show. Next time that I'm doing huge show like that, we're talking about, huge stage, $20 a line array per side, probably gonna bring my DL251 with me and ask the band if they don't mind using my gear instead of the totally fine X32 rack. For monitoring, you cannot beat that solution for price-wise and just the fact that it fits in the 3-rack space with your in-ear and everything. But the matter of fact is, after trying out really high-end console and go back to the wing with a cheap stage box, I feel like the 251 is a good investment, and I can see, like, I'm ready. As an engineer, I'm ready maybe to move on to something like the Heritage Hair that will come out, or should come out maybe one day. Small, good quality console. Who knows? If the HD 96 Air gets released, I'm gonna move on from the wing. Because if it's anything like the Pro 2, and I've said this before, if it's anything like the Pro 2, I hear a difference now. I did enough wing, and I did Pro 2 in between, and I did all my I did some A/B tests and mixing the same band with different console like the SXL that is fairly a higher price than the Wing, and the Digico that is also really more expensive than the Wing. The Wing is still good. The amount of feature that you get is awesome. But where you are mixing in a line array, that will tell you if you cut a half dB of something, there is other solution. I I played with the big boy, playing with huge line array. Definitely know or understand or feel or hear why people mix with $1,000 console, $100,000 console into $100,000 PA. Not the same game, not everything. It's like everything. It's not the same game. When you go to the major league, you need to have the major league gear. Otherwise, again, really happy with my Wing. I'm not gonna sell it like that, but eventually I will move on to something else. Because as an engineer, as a professional, if I keep doing bigger and bigger gear, bigger gig, I'm gonna need the bigger gear. Next, actually tomorrow, I'm also on a huge festival where there's like 20,000 people. I don't know what the PA is. It's probably something like the K1, K2 again, or Nexo. I don't know what's the latest Nexo PA, but depending on the company that will provide, it's either here. Actually, in Quebec here, we have three options. We have Nexo, we have Mayer Sound, and L Acoustics. It's going to be one of those three tomorrow. And I feel like, depending on the game that you're playing, you need to have the gear. It's like playing any sports. I mean, it's like driving a car. I'm driving a smart car. Would I go race against F1? No. Can I drive on the F1 circuits? Sure. Will I kill myself? Probably not. Will I go as fast as these guys? No way in hell. So yeah, it's just a matter of choosing the right tool for the right job. For most of the gig that I do, my Wing is still perfect. It's going to do a great job. It's going to have all the tools that I need to accomplish my job, but I need to, as an engineer, I need to step up my game a little bit. The Wing helped me. It's a huge leap from the X32, and now I'm maybe ready to do the next move into higher end equipment. Okay, enough of me talking. I've been talking for the last 15 minutes, and I should say first hi to Rolf, hi to Jonathan. Thank you for being here, guys. Really appreciate the fact that you join in for these live stream. In the UK, it's hard to find a DLT51 for sale. Been looking for ages. There's a group for Midas user that you probably want to join in and maybe post your request there, because I saw a couple of these for sale. Usually they don't go out for sale that much because any console now can use them, so people don't really get rid of them. But if somewhere in Europe a supplier, a company, a rental company get rid of some Midas Pro X, they maybe have some stage box to sell on the side, but most people try to sell as a package. But maybe you can find one used, or be on the lookout for a new one. If you have the budget, I would suggest you to go for a new one. Maybe non-hiring equipment, Jonathan. Maybe I can get myself something, if the HD96 Air is what it seems to be, it's going to be like a cheap version of a Pro Series console that you can fit in the back of your car. I could definitely go Pro 1, Pro 2 from Midas. Pro 2's compact will definitely be the same size as a Wing. I know it's old technology, but still, those consoles sound great. As those consoles sound as good as any of the flagship board from any other company, like, Avid, Digico. Who else is on SSL now has a live console. It's the same, it's the same ballpark. As for the Wing, it's one step, it's really okay, let me put it out this way. The Wing really sit between two games. It has way too much feature for the small local venue. But if you A/B it versus the big boy, the Pro Series and everything, it feels just a little under. Maybe I'm just saying that because I didn't have my DL251. If I had my DL251, maybe I would be the happiest guy on earth and said, you know what, my console for like a tenth of the price of this one is as good. Maybe not. Maybe because I was using the clock of the Parager rack, the X32 rack. Maybe that's another reason. I don't know. I would need to try it, and unfortunately I will not have the chance to try it soon. But next time that I'm mixing into 40 or 60 K2 Leonard boxes, I'll let you know. Yeah, sorry, as incredible as it seems, it's probably gonna happen at some point, but yeah, for now, okay, let's wrap it up. For now, yeah, it's I'm debating what I should do with my console. I will try to prove myself wrong with my DL251 next time, and we'll see if this is cutting it or not. Okay, I've been talking way too much today. Guys, please send me out on a topic. Ask your question about the Wing. We're here to talk about what you guys want to talk about. This is not just me rambling, look into a camera. Send me on to something. What do you guys want to know? Is there any problem that you face? Is there any situation that you guys faced that you guys want to talk about? I had a lot of people commenting on my latest vlog that came out yesterday, where I'm mixing in a tent, loud drum. I was way too close to the band too. A lot of people had opinion about that, how drummer are or worst enemy. Drummer is actually the snare is the sound man's worst enemy, because they're always too loud. Cymbals are always loud, especially when you mix in a tent like I did. It's loud. It's getting way too loud, and sometimes you have to mix too loud to overcompensate drum level and bring everything else to something that makes sense. Usually I don't mix my drum that loud in the mix, but if my drum playing at 105 dB, I'm not gonna put the vocal at 115 just because I want to keep the same ratio. It's gonna be a loud drum mix. We're gonna hear the vocal over it, we're gonna hear the guitar over it, and that will be the mix that day. But I want to say thank you to the people who comment on that. So Beta52 and who else did comment on that? I probably have that. Pancho. There you go. Pancho commented on my video about that on the stream. Thank you guys also for watching my stream. Really appreciate that. You guys have no idea. So okay, interesting thing. On your latest vlog, you set up the overheads to trigger off the snare signal. Can you show me how to do that again, please? Sure, I can definitely do that. What I'm doing, and you need to understand what's really happening there. I'm using my snare, which is not on right now, but I'm just going to give you an example of the routing, and you will get it. I'm using my snare. Every snare hit is used to trigger a compressor on the overhead. That way, when I come here in the overhead, which should not look like this, let me just do a quick maybe a little less low end in there, but we'll see. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Let's go into the compression. Oh, actually, I'm doing the same thing here. I'm using my snare, which is input 2, as a key source, channel 2 as a key source for my compressor. Meaning, every time the snare reach a certain level, my compressor on my overhead listen to the snare instead of the overhead. So when the drummer start to roll like a small roll beat, it doesn't do anything. As soon as it go loud, the compressor of the overhead hear that. I set my threshold to the level where I want this action to happen, and it's just going to turn down the overhead because it's going to compress on the overhead, and it will bring the level of that mic down or that channel down by using compression. So every time my drummer is hitting really loud his snare or just at a normal level, I don't want my overhead mic to make it louder. I just want my snare mic to take care of the snare. I just don't want my overhead to pick that up too and adding more. So what I do is I use a compressor on the overhead triggered by the snare, and it's going to turn down by, I set a limit to be 6 dB. It's going to turn down the overhead by 6 dB every time the snare hit. That way I have a more direct sound of the snare and I have less overall volume. Some people don't like to do that. I like to do it. It keeps the snare under control. It doesn't get too loud, and usually when the drummer hitting the snare, he doesn't hit any cymbals. So it depends on how you build your mix. Do you build your mix with your overhead as a overall drum sound, like you pick up the whole drum kit as a whole from there, or do you use it just for the cymbals? I'm using my overhead as cymbal mic only, and most of the time I put them under the cymbal. Most of the drummer now don't have 25 cymbals anymore, like maybe in the heavy metal stuff, but most gigging musician in pop and rock just using 2 crash and a ride, and I just mix these two. I just use these 2 mics to mic the cymbal under it really far, so that way I don't have too much low end from the cymbal. But I use the cymbal, a single mic under each cymbal, and I use a mic for the ride too under, just to get the bell, and I blend that in with the rest of my drum. But of course, the snare being a snare, it's loud, it's sending out, it's bleeding into every mic. So every time that the snare hit, I don't want the cymbal mic to pick that up too. And also it's picking up room from the snare, which I don't really want. If I ever want to have more room on that snare, I'm just going to put on a reverb if needed. So yeah, I just do this. I'm also doing the same thing, or kind of the same trick, for vocal and guitar. Do I have that here? Probably don't. What I do, let me check that. Okay, what I usually do for my guitar is I'm using a dynamic EQ on the guitar itself, and the key source is gonna be, I don't have any lead vocal here, but I'm gonna use my talkback as a, hey. I'm gonna use my talkback as a source here. There you go. Hey. Hey. Can you see what's happening here? I'm gonna use a bigger Q. I want something like 0.5. By doing this, every time that I'm speaking, I'm gonna fake hear a singer. Every time that I'm speaking, the dynamic EQ is cutting out on the mids in my guitar. Sometimes it's helping me getting away with more guitar in the mix, so that way when the singer is singing, the mid-range of the guitar goes away, but when he stops, maybe my threshold is a bit, there you go. When he stops, the guitar or the mid-range of the guitar come back up, so you can hear the guitar, because a guitar is all about mid-range. It's another trick. This is something else that I'm doing that is helpful. It's using sidechain, basically. I'm sidechaining the input of that compressor with something else, snare, lead vocal, to cut down on something. You can probably do the same thing, let's say with higher frequencies on your overhead. Use a dynamic EQ you triggered by the snare to cut down on just some high-end information, not the overall, not the whole overhead. You can just decide that you want to cut on some frequencies in your overhead when the snare is hitting. This is something that I never did, but I could see myself doing. I'm doing it on guitar and vocal. Can definitely make sense. Up to you. Also wanted to understand your setup of stereo guitar. Are you miking the amp twice, hard pan, hard left and right? The guitar that I'm using, or actually on that show, it's Helix stereo processor, guitar effect processor that has stereo cab into it. So I'm doing the same thing on some band with mics. I'm miking the same cab, one side with a 57, one side with hey, bonjour Patrick. I'm miking the same cab with two microphones, 58 on one side, 421 on the other, and I'm going hard pan left and right. But what I do when I'm doing this, I make sure that I'm in phase. So I start off with two mono microphone using in-ear monitor. I go move the mic around. The method that I'm using is I'm using the two mic in mono, one that is phase reverse. I align the microphone until, like, I move the microphone back and forth to the cab until I almost completely cancel the signal when one of the mic is phase reverse. I move back the 57, I think. I never think about it twice because I just move the mic until, like, I put them really close. Let's say I'm looking at the mic. Okay, the capsule of the 421 is a little further or so, or backwards. I'm just moving the mic until I get a complete cancellation of tone. No more signal in my in-ears. And then I flip the phase back on the microphone that the phase was canceled. And I got two microphones almost perfectly in phase on that same guitar cab. It's working even in a combo if you have just a single speaker. Usually I'm doing, like, from the center of the cone, I'm putting two mics, one on each side, and I try to get them in as much in phase as possible, and I pan one hard left, one hard right. And when I have two guitar, I try to do the same thing, 57, 421, and on the other guitar I'm doing 421, 57, and I just blend these two guitars together until I get a huge stereo sound. It's the same source, but because it's captured by two different microphones, the fact that the stereo mix, it's not exactly the same on each side. You know, you have the 57 that is usually a brighter mic, brighter on one side for one guitar, brighter on the other side for the other guitar. I try to use that as a way to know who's playing guitar on each side of the stage, but the fact that it's also so mono at the same time. Well, it's stereo, but it's so center at the same time. You hear both guitar, no matter if you are on the left or on the right of the PA. One is just brighter and the other one is just a little darker on each side, and I'm compensate the other way around. This is one way to do rock and roll. I like it. That's all I'm gonna say. I like it. The overall result is just great. Rolf, can I use it to extend USB input from a PC on via Stage Connect and also have what? Sorry. Okay, hold on. Probably missed your comment here. Okay, there we go. I got a DN4816U Stage Connect box last week. Interesting stuff. Definitely interesting. I probably won't be able to review the Stage Connect stuff for now. If somewhere somebody decided to get back in touch with me and send me one, I will probably do it. Other than that, I don't see myself needing one for now. Maybe that's going to change, but I was about to purchase one, and since I don't really have a need for it and somebody promised me to let me try one and did it happen, I'm probably not gonna pull the trigger for now. I'm gonna wait for me to really need it before buying it. So can I use it to extend the USB input from a PC on stage via Stage Connect and also have internet connection? I would not know. I'm sorry. For me, I tested it as a possibility to use the XR18 as a stage box, but I think you still need to set the preamp on the XR18. Could you do gain control over Ultranet? I don't think so. So maybe not. Interesting question here from X32 RAM. What would you do if the amp is already stereo? Like 4 mics? No, I probably won't go 4 mics. I generally put my Line 6 stereo out, dark amp to the desk in stereo. If it's a stereo amp, for real, let's say that I'm miking up a JC120 clean amp that has stereo power amp, stereo chorus and everything, I will just use the 57 and the 421 as a stereo pair. If I have 2 of these, I will go 57, 421, and 421, 57. Mix and match whatever you want. And if I have a stereo line out, I'm gonna ask, like I do ask most of my player, to give me 2 different signals from left to right. So most of the time I'm using, in the Line 6, I'm using a M160 ribbon on one side, and depending on the tone, I'm asking the player to put a 421 or a 57 on the other cab, and I'm blend. It's not really a blend, because I want to have 2 different sound left and right, and I ask the player to level match the 2. But it's, even if it's the same level, if it sound like the amp is sitting in front of you, it doesn't sound like, you know, it's panning because of the level, it's still not the same. So it becomes a stereo amp, even if it's just stereo cab. And I just run stereo guitar as much as possible. It just sounds so good. So I try to have a different signal from left to right, and also stereo effect, like stereo ping pong delay, stereo reverb from the Line 6 stuff. It works really good. It's really fine. I mean, most of the people that I work with are using the Elix stuff, the rack, the HX Stump, or the full on board, or the XFX, or I'm personally now a Podgo user. As long as you know what you're doing and you can create something that is different from left to right inside your modeler, you become stereo. And you treat that as a stereo source, like you do a keyboard. You know, most of you probably don't know, with a keyboard, the lower note are usually on the left and the higher note are usually on the right. So when I'm doing, actually a band that I'm doing, the keyboard player is really, really picky about his stereo piano sound. The first thing you do when you go on stage is doing a chord on this side on the low end and on the higher notes. And if he doesn't hear, you know, the lower note on the left and the higher note on the right, you just tell me, oh, mute the keyboard, changing the XLR in the backward and getting it so it's left and right. I personally don't mind it because it's stereo. As long as it's stereo, it doesn't bug me. But that's the kind of thing that he noticed. That's the kind of thing that once he told me, now I'm noticing it too. And speaking of noticing stuff, I just noticed that my screen has a small crack into it. Something probably hit my screen there. So there's a little chip right there in my screen. You guys probably cannot see it. Maybe if I turn it down, can you guys? Nope, you cannot see it. With the reflection of the light now, I can see that little light shining through it here. Maybe you guys can. Yeah, I'm gonna put the blue. It's right there at the frequency. Just right there. So yeah, you can definitely see something here. Let's figure out what happened with that. I'm probably gonna do a touch screen test later today. And if I have a broken screen, we'll finally see the whole process of changing a screen on a wing. I don't think it's been on YouTube before. We'll see. Sorry guys, I'm gonna catch up with the chat. I'm doing a little late right now. I like the dual sound of 2 mics. Yes. Bright and less bright. Yeah. Definitely what I'm going for. My wing acted up at a gig last week. This will be my second screen repair. Thanks to your blog, I just disabled the screen and used a wireless mouse. Good that you could get away with it. I'm happy if I could help a little. Thank you, and please let us know what's happening with that. Why, or should I say, let me ask you, what happened to it? Did you drop a mic on the screen? Is it something that happened, or did you, or it just act up on itself? I know it could be both. I believe that some people did not destroy their screen themselves. I believe that some screens are acting up, but recently, from what I heard, the new screen, the new one that roll out, should be fine and should not break on their own. Let me know what happened with that. Did an accident happen? Because this is definitely, it could happen to me. I could be pulling my lid back up on that case and somebody that don't know what they're doing, they didn't close the screen down, they just bump the screen or drop something into it and break my screen. It can happen. Let me know. Let me know if that's the case for you or just break on his own. Jonathan, why? Not why splitter, but why are you doing this? You definitely want to have your guitar in stereo. Seriously. It's gonna help you a lot. Actually, it's gonna clean up the middle of your mix. It's gonna clean up the mid-range in the middle and help your vocal to be easier to mix. I did some test with some friend, and when it's not mono, it give you space. When it's stereo, it give you space to get that vocal going. So definitely do not put both of your 1/4 inch into the same DI and mix that in mono. Definitely use 2 DI or 2 XLR, or actually I just bought myself a JDI stereo DI from Radial. I love these DI. They're expensive, but they're really good and they last a lifetime. If you don't step on the XLR on the DI, because that's one way to break it. If you step on the XLR while it's plugged in, you can break the connector from the board inside the DI. But other than that, if you just take care a little bit of it, it will last you a lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, Herman Bosa is in the house. How's it going, my friend? Welcome back. What do you mean you forget it's Monday? It's Monday. How can you forget that? Welcome back, my friend. Nope, just started to switch pages and tried to shut down. Ooh. The issue is on the right side, like a... It's bank holiday here, so you're still in vacation week. It's vacation mood. Okay, weekend mood. Do I know how to read? That is a great question. Okay, so it's a holiday. It's still the weekend, basically. So here in Quebec, Canada, it's not a holiday. I have to work. I'm here with you guys, holiday or not. I try to do these as much as possible every Monday. So, speaking of, really like the vlog? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Because, let's face it, I don't know if I want to keep doing these vlogs or not. Because, not a lot of people watching them. Let me know, guys, if you watch these live stream. If you're not here with us right now and you watch us in playback, let me know. Are you watching the vlog? Because I don't know who's watching. I just know that I have a core of like 500 people that watch all my stuff, all the live stream, all the video, wing or not. But yeah. To answer your question, Herman, yes, I feel like this is working. I have this... Yeah. Basically. It's not work, but I have to be here. I have to get up, put on the setup. You guys don't know. I never did a studio tour. I should do a studio tour eventually. I actually have another vlog coming out next Saturday, but I should just leave that setup on right now. Actually, I have a meeting after this, but Illuminox, I know you watched the vlog. Thank you for being here. But I should do a tour of the whole setup here. And you guys, it's probably more than you think. It's not a lot, but there's more going than you think. With my 2 screens, 2 camera, lights, 5 spotlights that I have to focus, set the console. Actually, today I had to set the console back in the studio because it was out with me on the weekend. It wasn't my car. I woke up today, the console was in my car. I had to bring it downstairs. This thing is heavy to carry around by myself. I can do it, but it's work. Definitely work. But you guys are watching the vlog. You just tell me right now in the chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work when I'm working to do my job and to just try to hold a GoPro like this while I'm working and bring you guys along. Thank you for watching. Question about the vlog. I think you were mainly using the Wing EQ, right? You don't use other EQ plugin? I don't really use EQ plugin. I don't know why. I just feel like having my full parametric, or is it 6 or 8 on the channel? 6 full parametric on the channel is just my way to go. I just feel like I can just do my surgical cut here and there. The other EQ work, but I'm not a huge plugin user overall. Even compressor wise, I have the same 3 that I'm using all the time. On drum, it's 160 compressor. Actually, I should do this. Right now, it's not the good one. Usually, it's 160 on drum. Pretty much all the drums. The drummer, I don't know how old that file is, but the drummer on the tom and floor tom bass is 1176. Everything else is just pretty much 1176. I'm still using the no stressor on I'm still using the no stressor on some vocal, but I think I'm just gonna switch back to the 1176. I don't know why. I like the way it works, how it's reacting. I know it's not a full-on emulation, but yeah, I just like the way it reacts. Do you put any effects or EQ on your main out? I actually do. I'm using the G-Boss compressor most of the time on my main, and I'm using it pretty much like this. Not with the plus 9 dB of gain, but usually I leave it at 0. And I try to hit, like right now I'm not hitting it at all. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. I try to hit around 3 dB of compression on my mix overall, just so I can hear it compressing just a little bit. It just helped me get more even, and I like my mix now. The way I mix right now, probably gonna change next week, has changed since the past. I try to go for a compressed, even mix. A couple of years ago, I was going for as much dynamic as possible. Now I try to go the other way around. I want my drum to be even, my bass to be even, and my vocal to be super center. I just feel like I want to compress more stuff and get more, in the brick wall. Well, I tried to do a brick wall right now. Maybe that's gonna change. Maybe depending on what I do, it's gonna change. And my approach also differ from when I'm doing front of house and monitor. I'm doing more and more a gig as a in-ear monitor engineer right now. I don't know if I'm gonna vlog these because I'm fairly new with the band, and this is you guys never heard of these guys, but this is a fairly known band here in Quebec. They've been around for 20-something year. The whole show is a bunch of single hit that spin on the radio so much that I never listened to the band and I know all the songs. Just to give you an idea. But I'm doing inner monitor for these guys. My approach is really different in the sense of the way I EQ stuff and the way I manage my mix overall. When I'm doing in-ear monitor, I try to leave everything as flat as possible, and I try to leave everything as uncompressed as possible. Other than maybe the vocal just a little bit, I try to leave the drum, no gates on the drum, almost no compression on the drum, a little bit of compression on vocal, expander on vocal, really tight expander on vocal to clean up the mix. That's my approach, but it's really different from doing front of house and in-ear monitors. Patrick, you carry the wing in its case, or the wing alone. I carry the wing in the case, up and down one flight of stairs. Every time that I go out with it, I just grab it by the side. I have two handles here. I just grab it like that, and I go up on the first floor and go out. It's heavy. It's really heavy. What else? What else in the chat? I only have 10 minutes, by the way, guys. After that, if you have any question, you will have to leave them in the comment below or come back later tonight. Oh, thank you, Daryl. I actually don't have wheels on my case. It's the one that I built that I never did a video about, but I should do a video about it. But it's just a case that makes the console sit flat with a 1-inch lid on top of it. So I can barely fit the hardware to build the case. And it's just surrounding the console. Almost no padding, almost no nothing. It's protecting the console against stuff falling on it, but it's not shock proof. It's not anything like that. Actually, on my next vlog, you will see more of the case, and you will actually see the case doing his job. Let's just say that I proved myself that my case is waterproof. I'll leave you up to this. I'll leave you up for this. I'll leave you up to this for now. There we go. Said it. Words are hard today. Okay, just a couple more questions. I like 1176 plus the LA2A in series for vocal. Never tried that. I should definitely give it a try. Is the 1176 is the LA2A attacks fast or slow? It's been a long time since I've played around 1176. I don't remember how quick the attack and release on this thing is. You grab the high peak first, then smooth out the level. So I'm gonna guess the 1176 is the fast one and the LA2A is the slow one that you put in series. I is upto, so it's slow. Okay. I heard a guy named Warren Uhert doing this, Produce Like a Pro. If you guys don't know who Produce Like a Pro is on YouTube, definitely go check Warren stuff. He said that a lot of time he's using a 160 into a 1176 or 1176 into 160. Once he said that, I said, okay, maybe I can do 2 compressor in a row. And I'm actually doing it most of the time where I compress the input by itself, and I just put everything into a vocal group or a vocal bus, and I just compress that again. So maybe I should do, you know what? I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try 1176 on the vocal, and I'm gonna try LA2A on the group. Not both on the channel strip, but one into the other that way. I'll give that a try. Thank you very much, Edman, for making me try something. I like that. You guys teach me so much and give me so much cool idea to do. I'm definitely gonna try that. Should I start a Discord channel? A lot of people are doing Discord channel, and I don't know if it's okay. I'm not into gaming at all, or almost not into gaming at all. I know what Discord is. I've used it a couple times here because I recently started to play D2R, Diablo 2 Remaster, with some friends. I play maybe 4 or 5 hours so far, so you guys probably... I'm not good right now, I just don't have the gear and anything, but just to say that I've used Discord a little bit, and I just don't know if it's a good fit for what we're doing. If you guys ask me to do a Discord channel, I can definitely see myself building one, because I know it's easy, but is it going to be useful? Up to you guys. Let me know in the comment below. Let me know if you want to see that happen. By request. If you guys want me to start one, I'll do it. If not, I would say please write down in the comments below every single video. I read every single comments that you guys leave, and I try to reply to them as much as possible. Okay. On that note, it's been almost an hour since we're streaming. I'm gonna go grab a coffee, do my meeting for my future event. I will grab you guys later tonight if you guys are still up, if you're in Europe, or if you are in North America and want to join in for a late night stream. I don't know if I'm gonna stream from the wing, or maybe I will try to play around with Dente tonight. I need to work on that, so maybe I will do a couple screen capture and bring out the GoPro at the desk in front of me. On that note, Jonathan, always a pleasure, dude. Always a pleasure to have you guys around. Until the next one, I want you please... Tonight's stream will be at 9 p.m. If you want to know when that time is for you, if you're watching from a different time zone than mine, Google what time is it in New York. I'm in the same time zone as New York, even if I'm in Canada. You know how time zone is working. So I'm 6 hours up north of New York City. So you guys can probably figure it out. So Google what time is it in New York. Take a look at what time is it versus you. Figure out when 9 p.m. is for you guys. And I will see you there at 9 o'clock. Until then, I want you guys to please take care of yourself. And I see you later in a few minutes, in a few hours. See ya.